Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where she seems cold, distant, or just off? Maybe you've noticed her pulling away, even though you're there physically, texting, calling, maybe even being nice. But deep down, you know something's missing. Here's the hard truth, my friend. If you don't truly love Hera, let's be honest, if you don't fully respect and value yourself in the process, we'll sense it. Women are wired to pick up on emotional gaps, on energy that isn't authentic. And when that happens, they react not always in the way you want, and often in ways that will hurt you if you're not aware. Maybe you've tried filling the gap with gifts, attention, or even trying to fix things with logic. Maybe you've thought, if I just show her how much I care, she'll love me back. But here's the thing: that approach almost never works. Because here's what most men don't realize. Love isn't just about showing up. It's about presence. It's about emotional investment. It's about being someone who actually values her enough to show it without needing validation back. And when you're not truly in that place, when you're showing up half-heartedly, or just going through the motions, she will do things to test your love, to fill her own emotional void, and sometimes even to protect herself from heartbreak. And if you're not aware of these signals, you could easily misread her behavior and make everything worse. So here's the real question. Are you actually loving her? Or are you just existing in the relationship, hoping she doesn't notice the cracks? If you're making these mistakes, it explains why she seems distant, why the spark feels gone, and why you might be constantly questioning her feelings or your own. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what happens when a woman senses a lack of love from her man. You'll see the behaviors she exhibits not to punish you, but because her heart is reacting to the gap she feels. And more importantly, you learn what to do so that you can stop this cycle, reclaim your confidence, and actually create the connection she's craving. In this video, I'm going to break down 7 things a woman does when she feels you don't truly love her, and what intelligent, emotionally aware men do differently. I'm talking about the little behaviors, the subtle signs that tell you exactly where you stand in her heart. By understanding this, you'll stop misreading her signals, you'll stop wasting emotional energy chasing her, and you'll start building respect and attraction naturally. This isn't about manipulation, it's about clarity, confidence, and emotional intelligence. Stick with me, because some of these points may make you uncomfortable, but that's exactly the growth you need. Let's get into it. Maybe you've noticed it. You're texting her, trying to connect, and instead of warmth, you get short answers. She seems distant, almost cold. You might think, did I do something wrong? Here's the thing. This isn't always about you doing something wrong. Often, it's a direct reflection of the energy you're bringing. If you're not showing real love, emotional consistency, or vulnerability, she senses it, and she pulls back to protect herself. When a woman pulls away emotionally, it creates tension and uncertainty. You feel rejected, frustrated, and insecure, and guess what? That energy feeds right back into her perception that you're not fully present. It becomes a cycle. Instead of chasing her or over-explaining yourself, take a step back and evaluate your own presence in the relationship. Are you fully invested, emotionally available, and acting with intention? Intelligent men focus on self-awareness first. They show love through actions that matter, not just words, not just "I care" texts at 2 a.m. And here's the kicker. When you fix yourself first, her pullback often reverses naturally. She doesn't need convincing. She just senses a man who actually leads with love. You've probably been there. She asks subtle questions, or maybe even pushes your buttons to see how you respond. Do you really care about me? Why didn't you call me back? These aren't just random tests, they're emotional signals. If you react defensively, with frustration, or by trying too hard to prove yourself, you reinforce her suspicion. He's not really here for me. Tests are her way of understanding your reliability and emotional capacity. Instead of overreacting, stay calm and grounded. Show through steady, consistent behavior that your commitment is real. Intelligent men don't get caught in emotional bait. They maintain confidence and respond with empathy. This shifts the dynamic from tension to trust. And here's the thing, once you master this, the next signs of her dissatisfaction become easier to read, and you can act before issues escalate. Let's be honest. When a woman doesn't feel loved, she'll naturally seek attention or validation elsewhere. Maybe it's friends. Maybe it's subtle social media interactions. Maybe even flirting with someone who seems to appreciate her. This is painful for a man to witness. But here's the deeper truth. This behavior isn't necessarily betrayal, it's a symptom of unmet emotional needs. And if you respond with jealousy or control, you're reinforcing insecurity rather than solving the problem. Instead of policing her, focus on being the man who naturally earns her attention. Show love in ways that make her feel seen and valued, not through fear or manipulation. When she feels the depth of your emotional presence, she stops needing external validation because she finds it in you. And this leads directly to the next point. Maybe she starts nitpicking little things, your habits, your choices, your tone of voice. It's frustrating, right? But here's the truth. Criticism is often a cry for emotional connection. When she senses that you're emotionally distant or not fully invested, it can manifest as irritability or judgment. If you respond with defensiveness or argue back, you escalate the conflict. Emotional disconnect grows. You might even start thinking, she's always complaining. But it's really her way of signaling that something's missing in the relationship. Listen, reflect, empathize. A simple acknowledgement like, I hear you, I understand how that makes you feel, goes a long way. Intelligent men turn criticism into connection opportunities instead of letting it create division. And as you do this, you'll notice the subtle shift. She relaxes, her guard comes down, and genuine emotional intimacy starts to grow. Intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, and even spiritual connection. When she feels unloved, she will gradually stop initiating closeness, dates, conversations, physical touch of it fades. You might misinterpret this as a loss of attraction, but it's often deeper than that. It's a reflection of the emotional gap she feels from you. If ignored, this gap grows, and the relationship risks becoming transactional, superficial, or even completely stagnant. Reignite intimacy by being emotionally present. Share your thoughts, your vulnerabilities, your true feelings. Intelligent men understand that attraction flows from depth, not just physical attention. When you lead with emotional availability, she will naturally reconnect. And once she does, you'll see the transformation, her warmth, her energy, and her engagement return. But that's only possible if you've addressed the earlier gaps we talked about. The most painful signal: she stops showing love, affection, or warmth. Hugs become shorter, kisses less passionate, and conversations feel cold. This is the ultimate reflection of her emotional state. If you don't recognize it, you might spiral, pushing harder, becoming needy, or trying to win her back through superficial gestures. The cycle becomes toxic. Focus on self-leadership. Regain your emotional stability. Show consistent presence and demonstrate genuine care. Love her fully, but from a place of strength, not desperation. When you do this, the withdrawal fades because she no longer feels the need to protect herself from emotional gaps. And this is why emotional intelligence is non-negotiable. It turns reactive cycles into proactive connection. I want to share something personal for a moment. Early in my life, I made the same mistakes. I was in relationships thinking that love was about gestures, gifts, and saying the right words. But I wasn't fully present. I wasn't showing genuine emotional depth. And I watched women I cared about withdraw, pull away, and even lose respect for me, not because they were hard to please, but because I wasn't giving them the love they deserved. It was painful, but it taught me the ultimate lesson. Love is not just action, it's intention. It's emotional clarity, vulnerability, and a willingness to be fully present even when it's uncomfortable. When you embrace that, everything changes. Your relationships improve, your confidence skyrockets, and the connection you have is deeper than anything superficial you've experienced. Before we continue, quick shout out to sponsor Name for supporting this video. Their product service helps men like you build confidence and emotional awareness, because real growth isn't just about learning. It's about tools that make the process easier. At some point, she may reach a breaking point. Maybe she says, if things don't change, I can't stay. Or she starts withdrawing completely. This isn't manipulation, it's an honest expression of her needs and boundaries. Many men react with panic or try to bargain for love. That desperation erodes respect and only deepens the gap. Stay calm, evaluate yourself honestly, and act with integrity. If you're willing to grow, show it through consistent action. Intelligent men don't fear ultimatums. They see them as signals for growth and opportunities to prove their emotional presence. Let's wrap this up. When a woman senses you don't fully love her, she will pull away emotionally, test your commitment, seek validation elsewhere, become critical or frustrated, stop initiating intimacy, withdraw affection, and give ultimatums. Each behavior is a signal, not a punishment. She's communicating a gap. She feels a need for authentic, emotionally intelligent love. The big takeaway: love isn't just words. It's presence, consistency, vulnerability, and self-leadership. When you embody that, respect and connection flow naturally. You become a man who inspires trust, attraction, and genuine intimacy without chasing, begging, or performing. If you found value in this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more content on confidence, emotional intelligence, and relationship mastery. Drop a comment sharing which of these behaviors you've noticed in your relationships, how you're planning to step up your game. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok for daily insights and actionable tips to become the man every woman respects, admires, and genuinely wants to be with. Remember, it all starts with you. Lead with love, lead with confidence, and watch the women in your life respond in ways you never thought possible.